It is exciting to talk about native plants. It used to be that I just wanted the newest thing that came from somewhere else, and now I only want the newest thing that's always been growing right here in South Carolina or in a state nearby. And Judy Seeley, you are with the South Carolina Native Plant Society, and you said you actually kind of came to this late in life when you moved down to South Carolina.
I did. When I moved here from Pennsylvania, I decided I wanted to learn about native plants and landscape with them, and the hobby has grown to become a passion.
Well, and why wouldn't it? Because look how beautiful they can be. So let's start with talking about this lovely little charmer over here.
All right, we have Flora Danis. This is an evergreen shrub, and it has a wonderful fragrance as you scratch the leaf a little bit.
My mother, when we were little, would take us out in the yard and crush one, and it just has the most refreshing, clean fragrance in the world, and it makes you feel cooler on a hot summer day.
Right.
And this is relatively easy to grow, and it makes a right nice size shrub, doesn't it?
Yes, it'll grow to be 8 feet tall, and it will get about 6 feet wide. It is evergreen. It makes a nice full background, and it comes out in the spring with wonderful red flowers. It's just going to be filled with these flowers.
And they're kind of star-shaped and just really beautiful to look at, aren't they? And it is a right dense shrub, so you feel like it's a good place for birds to take refuge and things like that. And it really has enough form and enough texture to make a statement.
It makes a statement, right.
And part shade generally.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also supposed to be deer resistant, which is good.
Yeah, and the ones in my yard have not been nibbled on.
Good, good.
And then next to it, we have something that is just about the most reliable thing in the world, but it's gorgeous on top of it.
Right. This is your all-season flowering plant. It's a verbena a variety called the Homestead verbena. And this will grow and spread as sort of a ground cover. This one's a little bit tall, but they're usually a little bit more horizontal. And it has these beautiful purple blooms from this time of the year right on through frost. Back in my yard at home, I now have 8-foot areas that are just full of these purple blooms.
And it just is so easy. It loves full sun, and it's awfully beautiful falling over something, don't you think? It just the nice way for flops over is to say it trails beautifully.
Yes, right.
Yes, it does.
And it does stay green all winter long, unless you have a really bad frost.
Right, just a great plant. Yeah. And then this is a little more delicate, but it's just got such a lovely aspect to it.
Well, this is our wild geranium. And look at this beautiful cut leaf.
Isn't
it's
it beautiful?
So beautiful all year long. And in the spring, at this time of the year, it has the pink blossoms. This will spread. It likes some shade and rich soil and moisture. But it will also grow a little bit out in the sun. So it can be a nice plant to add to your landscape, as can all of these.
And this one you said is spreads not aggressively, but it will make a nice clump. And so then when you walk under maybe in a wooded area, you can have this lovely little gem there and look down and say, oh my goodness, look at this.
Right, and it's such a nice texture to the leaves.
It does have a nice texture. And then this one is really kind of a showstopper right now,
Right now it is. This is the wild pink. It's in the Silene genus, and right now it is full of these beautiful pink blooms. And they'll last for about a month.
That's a nice time.
It's a good long time. They're a nice dense plant. They'll spread slowly and make a nice clump. And even once they've quit blooming, you have a nice evergreen, not evergreen, but a carpet of green right there. And,
during most of the year, till the cold
weather comes. Till the cold gets it down. Yeah.
But just as pretty and sweet as it can be. A lovely shade of pink, too. Sometimes it's hard to... it's not Pepto-Bismol pink.
No.
It's just the right color. And then this is just a wonderful plant.
This is a wonderful plant. It has a wonderful name. It's called dog hobble. It's an evergreen plant, and right now you can see it has little white flowers that are just hanging down, that heath-shaped flower on them. Now, I said the name was dog hobble. Well, there's a story behind this.
Well, as a storyteller, let's hear the story.
Right. This plant will grow into dense clumps with arching branches that come down. And the story is that the hunters would take their dogs out. The dogs would get caught up in this dense vegetation and be hobbled there.
Yeah. And Leucothoe, a beautiful, the scientific name is beautiful too.
Right.
And I have mine in part shade, at kind of the front of a border, and it's just a gloriously beautiful plant. And for people like me who like to use cut plants but use them in arrangements, this is a very beautiful, graceful filler sometimes when you're making arrangements.
And it does need some moisture though.
Yeah. Okay, and then next to it is just, it's a plant that everyone should have.
You have to look for one of these in the spring every year. This is the Mayapple, and it's a spring ephemeral. When the plant gets to have 2 leaves on it, it's got a division. Underneath it, you can pick one up and look, and you might find a little white flower dangling down there, which will later grow into a greenish fruit, which is the term of the Mayapple.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
I think
just a treat in the
it's
spring.
kind of like going on an Easter egg hunt.
Right,
Because
right.
when you go out and you can have big clumps of these. Oh, it's just magnificent. If you're up there in the botanical gardens, they have huge swaths of them.
Right.
And you have to get down, and it's good for you, good for your exercise ability, because you always have to lean over and look under them, don't you?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And this needs a rich, moist soil.
Yes.
And it will, as you say, grow into a mass of plants, which are just spectacular in the
They
spring.
really are. It's such a pretty green, too.
Yeah.
And then a fun little fellow on the end.
All right, this is called blue-eyed grass. It isn't really a grass. It's in the iris family.
Yes.
And in the spring, as you can see, it gets these little blue flowers with a white eye in the middle.
I know. I feel like the person who named it didn't look very closely.
Right, he didn't look quite in the middle. And I like to use this plant as a little border instead of some of the mondo grasses, the non-native grasses that we use, because you can get it to grow, in a border along an area, and you might have to trim it once in a while.
Well, you've got to do something to almost
right,
everything.
Right,
yeah.
right. But once it's done blooming, you have this nice border of green, lasts all summer, and it's just a beautiful
nice
little plant.
native on top of it.
And it's native. And these are all great plants for the pollinators, for the as food and habitat for the other insects and birds and animals.
Well, it's important when we start adding native plants to our landscape to be sure that we're getting them from people who have permission to collect and are reproducing them, propagating them in the correct fashion. And I believe that that's what the Native Plant Society is doing. So tell us, is that how y'all get your stock?
Yes. We, in the upstate, grow most of our own plants. We go out and collect seeds properly, not taking them all.
Yes.
And then we have a member who has a greenhouse, and he starts some of the seeds. We take cuttings from plants we already have in our own properties.
Yes.
And
So everything's
correctly done.
Yes.
And then we propagate the plants so nobody has to think they should go out in the woods and dig them up, which they really shouldn't do. And
y'all have an opportunity for people to come and see these and many others coming up.
yes, this coming Saturday,
Yes.
April 22nd, we will have several thousand of these plants gathered in one spot at Conisty Park in Greenville. And that's at 840 Malden Road in Greenville.
Okay.
And from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., people can come out, learn about these plants, and
Make a selection.
Make a selection and take some home with them.
And support the Native Plant Society.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And also do something great for the birds and the pollinators and the wildlife.
And add beauty to your yard. Well, I want to thank y'all for the wonderful work you're doing, encouraging people to plant natives in their landscape and giving them an opportunity to find ones that have been beautifully grown. These are very healthy specimens, and y'all have done a mighty good horticultural job with them.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.